Emotional sickness lets me know you're real. And I can feel
Oh, we're rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling.
All right, Jeremy VanSice, endurance cyclist, master cider maker, father, good dude. How's it going, man?
It's going good.
Alaska Divide, 1,000 miles, 8 days.
8.5 days, 1,000
8.5
miles.
days.
Yeah.
Crusher point to point, how many days?
Crusher point to point was 528 miles.
And the Crusher point to point was first, right?
Yeah, that was in July.
That was in July. When was Alaska Divide?
Alaska Divide was the end of August 17th.
August
We
17th.
started.
So you had about a month between them.
Yep.
2 months.
4.5 weeks.
4.5 weeks between the two. What made you want to do these?
The Crusher or the Alaska? The Crusher, I did. The Crusher is something I always want to be a part of, and I think I'll every single July be in the UP with that.
Be part of it.
So just to do it again for my third time was just something that's on my calendar. Like next July, I'm gonna somehow be a part of the Crusher.
You're gonna be doing one of the Crushers.
My favorite,
Yeah, that's a good one.
But the Alaska Divide, is I've only been riding a bike for 3 years.
Yeah.
First bike at 46 years old.
Oh yeah.
And shout out to you for being a huge inspiration in that
This is a small
story
part.
of mine.
Yeah.
I just would the more I rode, the more, I did the first Crusher ever with you.
Yeah.
We did the 100 together. I think that was in 23.
23, yeah.
And I just fell in love with that community and riding and being part of it. I love the way that people, there was no real race in the sense of you're running, everyone's got their own race that they're doing. And it's the idea that you finish, so the sense of community where everyone's cheering each other on, and a lot of camaraderie out on the trail. So just a few months after that first Crusher that we did together, we ended up doing the Moran 166 together.
166, oh yeah.
Which was, 166 miles.
Yeah.
And that was also in the UP during the fall. I think it was July to October I did my second one ever. And again, beautiful people, beautiful scenic countryside through the UP, riding with friends like you. I just wanted to be so involved with this and do more, so that led to much more riding on my own, riding with friends and stuff. So fast forward to the next summer when I did the Coast to Coast, and I was able to finish that one, which was 204 miles.
And then rainstorm.
It was the tsunami that year. They called it the tsunami year. But I finished that in 19 and a half hours, and then that was the year I signed up for the point-to-point 350.
Yeah.
And I was able to finish that with 7 minutes before the time cut off.
Yeah.
I was the last person to cross the finish line.
How many miles was that?
385.
385
Yeah.
miles.
And I don't remember the exact time that I did it in, but it was the full. I think we started Wednesday at midnight.
Yeah.
And Sunday morning, 7 minutes before the cutoff at
You used up
6
every
a.m.
minute.
Every
of the
bit
time.
of it, yeah.
Every minute.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, I guess to answer the question of how and why for the Alaska Divide was, in the years I started riding, it was the idea of continuing to throughout life, we tend to put these limits on ourselves.
Oh,
I, at least personally, am very guilty of and bike riding showed me how you can completely crush those limitations, and they're all self-imposed.
Oh, for sure.
So I was doing a lot of just I wanted to keep it all Michigan. I'm what else can we do in Michigan? And that's when Todd and the 906 team announced that they're going to do the 500 point-to-point. I guess rewind a second. I saw this ad came up on my social media for the Alaska Divide. And so not a lot of people know, but I grew up, my dad moved to Alaska in 81.
Okay.
So all through high school and elementary school, I spent my winters with my mom in Bel Air. And then I would spend my summers with my dad in Alaska.
Okay.
And I did that for 17 years throughout my childhood. And so when I saw the the Alaska Divide. At this point, now I had done a 350, and it was a 1,000-mile bicycle race.
Through
The
Alaska.
last frontier, from Anchorage to the Arctic Ocean. And I started looking at the route, and I'll be damned if it wasn't like a lot of places that my dad took me as a child. You know, we passed through all these different points all the way up. I'd been to almost all of them before. So for me, it was an opportunity to celebrate like an awesome childhood that I had. Go to these places again as an adult, but do them on the bike.
Yeah, revisit them as an adult on a bike.
Yeah.
It's a different. I noticed just riding locally that you see more stuff on the bike.
Yeah, just everything is slowed down.
Slowed down.
You realize when you're out there on your bike alone, just like, you know, how much life's passing you by, how much, like, when you're going down a back road in a car, you'll kill that 2-track in 10 minutes, but on your bike, you can feel the pedals under your feet, you can feel the wind against you, you can see all the trees, every leaf, and it's just such a slow, cathartic, kind of calming.
When I first started riding bikes, it was the smells I noticed.
Yeah.
The smells and the sounds of everything around me that, you know, that's the stuff I didn't notice before.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's
so peaceful.
I can only imagine Alaska because I know my experience just in the local area. You know,
Yeah.
It's insane. And we were talking before this about starting Be Well, the hard cider, and you constantly find yourself in these positions where you shouldn't be there, but you always find a way out. You know, and it's probably, you consistently have done that too your whole life. Now you're doing it on a bike now.
Correct.
Yeah, you're working your way out of that hole. So
yeah, for sure.
impressive.
Biking has helped me on my day-to-day with work and relationships, and
it translates over.
it translates over to everything.
The discipline of riding the bike, the execution of the event you're participating in, training, it all translates over into the rest of your life.
Yeah.
As a father, probably.
As a father, as a partner in a relationship, with work stuff, and you know, work can be, and navigating your own business can be on the daily, like you're walking into a space where you don't know what's going to happen.
No. Yeah.
You know?
It's out of your control.
Everything's out of your control.
Everything's out of your control, as is the Crusher and the Alaska Divide.
Yeah.
Everything's out of your control.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also having an event picked out,
Yeah.
it gives you a little bit of purpose. You get into this mode of like I'm training, and so also when you meet those daily things that happen with work and relationships and kids in life, you kind of can adapt that. It's like, wait, this is my training. Like, what am I getting out of this?
For sure.
So.
And make it clear, you're not a pro, you're not sponsored, you're a guy doing this on the side. You're a weekend warrior.
No, I pay.
You pay
money to go do these, put myself in these situations.
You're just a normal guy doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Which is super impressive.
Yeah, and the fact that I went from, never riding a bike to within 3 years.
This happened in 3 years.
Taking on the Alaska Divide.
It's impressive to watch.
Pretty remarkable.
What does the start line, this is day one, look like at Crusher Point to Point and Alaska Divide?
So
similar, different?
It very similar. So the Alaska Divide is only, it's like a dozen people every year that actually like want to take that
It's an
on.
elite group.
And I think with the point to point, the 500 mile in the UP of Michigan is they cap it at 100, and I want to say that this year maybe it was like 52 people showed up at the starting line.
Okay.
So these big events, like the longer the race is, you start the numbers of people go down and down, but the start of each one is just like there's a buzz in the air, there's an excitement. People are doing last minute gear checks on their bikes and high-fiving each other, sharing like their, if you're gonna go ride, say the point to point, like we're all gonna take off for the next 5 days, and we're gonna be out there. Like, what's your plan?
Yeah.
Where are you stopping? What's your sleep system look like? Those are you're only bringing 2 bags. How are you gonna,
Yeah, none of you are racing each other.
Yeah, no one's racing each other. It's like a community. We're all together. We're all taking this on.
Yeah, putting yourself in a really rough situation.
Yeah. And for the Alaska one, it seems so foreign, like there's like the travel time, it's like 14 hours to get up there. you have to ship your bike, which is something I've never had to do before. So there's a lot of like, I'm not the best bike mechanic.
Yeah.
So it's like taking the pedals off and then getting it into a little bag and then praying that the bike gets there. And then I'd sent a couple boxes up ahead of time.
Okay.
So I had some family in Anchorage, so I was able to, if I had to carry everything on the plane, I would have checked like 3 bags.
Oh, yeah.
And brought a big backpack and a suitcase. So I was able to ship the boxes ahead of time. But with the Alaska Divide, there's a lot of people from all over the world. There was Sweden, Czech Republic, Germany, Italy. There was Flagstaff, Arizona, Michigan, and a couple dudes from Italy. But just there's an overwhelming feeling of excitement. Like everyone was kind of wide-eyed, almost like this is going to be awesome. Meets what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah. And you're the only guy there without like the bike gear on.
Without what?
Without bike gear. You're not wearing a jersey.
Yeah, no,
you don't have bike shoes on.
I know, no. I was flat pedals.
Flat pedals.
Flat pedals, the only one.
There's normal clothing.
Yeah, you're talking about guys that grew up in the mountains in Switzerland, like their backyard.
Yeah.
Or the Alps. This is where they train. This is where they ride. This is where they swim.
Legit.
Yeah, so it was exciting to also for me to watch and learn. I'm always learning. I'm always a student of the bike community.
Yeah, watch and observe.
What they do, how they're packing their gear, what size tires they have, what kind of raincoat they're wearing.
Yeah, you're checking it all out.
I'm like, it's 48 degrees. These guys are all in bike tights. I'm in like a snowmobile suit. I'm like, so it's just, it's how you learn.
Yeah, that's impressive though. What are you looking for out there? What are you searching for? What's your...
So like, that's a great question. When I'm out there in those situations, like I personally I come up with the most creative. It's like I think about my family, my relationships, kids, everything that's going on, but like you can have real honest talks with yourself out there. I come up with my most creative ideas for that's the cider I'm gonna make when I get home.
Okay.
I'm just gonna have this, and so like I get very creative. I can reflect on, all the stuff, and all the struggles in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
All the triumphs.
Yeah, you have a lot of time to think.
Yeah, and then also in that thinking, you will hit these moments where you realize like in 6 hours I haven't thought about anything.
Yeah.
So there's also that, which is, I think as we are adults and we get older in life, finding an environment to shut everything around you off, it becomes harder and harder and harder. And I didn't even know that like you can find those moments. I was so consumed with the day-to-day monotonies of life that everybody goes through.
Going to work.
But you can find a place where you can turn it all off.
Yeah.
And you can be a kid again.
Yeah.
I call them wee moments because like you're a kid on your BMX and you're flying down the trail and you're like, wee, this is so fun. And like you're innocent when you're a kid and you don't have the stressors of being an adult. So I do have it at 49 years old. I have these wee moments out there where it's just me and literally a bicycle and I'm bunny hopping and I'm weaving through the center lines on the road and it just feels so free.
I know that feeling, and that's what attracted me to riding bikes is the feeling of being a kid out in the woods, and it's an escape.
Yeah.
Shut the phone off and by yourself in the woods. It's your best time to think. Yeah.
Yep. That's stuff you don't feel since you were a kid.
Yeah.
What
were you feeling at that time though? You were staring down 1,000 miles. What were your thoughts in the moment?
I was anxious. I was excited. Believe it or not, I felt rested. I was ready, but that first day,
you feel like prepared?
The first 5 hours of the Alaska Divide, I was a complete shit show.
Yeah.
Leading into it, it's like, you look at the map, it's like, there's, I only got 5 turns in 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Well, literally in Anchorage, within 3 hours, I was lost. And I just watched everybody pull away from me. And I had this balance of like, this is not a race. This is also going to take 8 or 9 days.
Yeah.
You're 3 hours in, relax.
Yeah.
But it was hot, and I was cold in the morning, so I dressed really warm, and so I kept it felt to me in that moment like every 35 minutes I was stopping to change my clothes. And every time I stopped, I felt a little bit of anxiety because everyone was pulling away.
Yeah.
And then I got a good text from a friend, Sam Henry, and my phone dinged while I was lost. And it was a message from him to remember to be present, to live in the moment, and to make memories. And so 3 hours in to 8.5-day adventure, I made a promise to myself that I was not even going to think about the other riders.
It's all right.
That I was just going to take it, look at the mountains and feel the sunshine. But the first day, you're leaving Anchorage, and there's this, you go through Hatcher Pass,
Okay.
which you ride your bike up to Palmer, which is probably 40 miles out of Anchorage. It's the next town up. But then from Palmer, it's like 17-mile uphill through Hatcher Pass. So I, of course, I just signed up and didn't do much research about like what the elevation looked like. So, all of a sudden by mile 80, I'm at the top of this pass, and I literally was like walking my bike up for miles.
You had no idea what you were
I had no idea what I was getting into.
No idea.
So there was the first day was a lot of frustration. It was hot. It was in the mid-70s, and I was, dressed super. I had too many clothes on.
Too many clothes on. It's easy.
Yeah, and I had too much gear. I had a backpack on, and all the bags were filled. So keep in mind, day one, I'm already like eliminating some of the things that I didn't need.
Start dropping stuff.
And
off.
I set a huge goal too, not knowing that, like, I'm leaving Anchorage and I'm gonna get to this town, Cantwell. Well, that was mile 235.
Okay.
And in Michigan, maybe in a 24-hour period, if you're lucky, you can get over 200 miles.
Yeah.
For me personally, with my ability, and I'm just like going over this mountain. I was like, yeah, that's out the window. I'm not getting 235 miles.
It's time to pivot.
Yeah, it started like the real world started hitting me. Like, these are mountain passes you're going through.
Yeah.
You're down here, and then you got to go up 5,000 feet in 30 miles, and then you got 20 miles back down.
Do you think not doing the research and the homework kind of paid off? Going in there kind of ignorant of what you're getting
there
into?
is a gift that I have to blindly just kind of like adapt as I go.
Yeah.
Where I kind of swim. That's the adventure for
Yeah.
me, right? Like putting myself into it. And I don't do it purposely, but it's just like, I don't know if I'm naive, but it's just like, hey, dude, you're going to Alaska, you're going over mountains, and you're going 1,000 miles, and it doesn't hit me till I'm in that moment.
We were talking.
That's when I'm like, let's go.
We were talking before this. What you lack in training and preparation, you make up for in execution.
I try to.
You try. You try your
Try
best.
my best. And
You've been pretty good so far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, it's worked for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worked for. What is the now the Alaskan Divide? What kind of terrain is that? Is that mainly hard packed gravel, pavement?
So it's probably, if it's there's 1,056 miles, I would guess that close to 700 of it was gravel. You got to think the entire almost last half is the Jack Dalton Highway.
Yeah.
And that's just a one-way 425 mile dirt road. It's a highway.
Yeah.
It's the northernmost road in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just pretty much truckers, going up to the oil rigs and hauling gear and gravel.
Let's talk. Hi.
Are we interrupting?
We open at noon.
You open at
Oh.
noon. Signs.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was going to get a 4-pack. It's all right.
I get you a 4-pack. What do you're here. I got it.
Do you have any of the
Good
sweet
footage of
Melissa
this right
in a
here.
4-pack or no?
I do not. Sweet Melissa comes in 3 different size jugs.
I'll just do a.
Selling cider.
Making money already today.
She said,
That's
you want
the
to get
sign.
a 4-pack? I said, they're not open. She
What's
said,
the
the sign says they're open. I'm like, all right.
That's right. It's all good. We are open for you. Yeah, it's just the farthest highway to the north. It's just it's dirt road, and so it's late. August is late in the season for Alaska,
Okay.
right? It's
Yeah.
like it's almost like I rode through 4 seasons. So like down in Anchorage, it was mid-70s, and as you get to Palmer, and you're working your way up to Cantwell, which is where the Denali Highway starts. The colors are starting to change. It's getting colder, So you get up to the Jack Dalton Highway, which takes you up through the Arctic. Now you're getting into above the Arctic Circle.
Oh yeah.
You're climbing up to the very top of the Continental Divide, You come over that divide, and it's just it looks like Siberia, just like tundra, flat. There's herds of reindeer, but it was muddy and rainy.
But your first day in Alaska, was it just kind of hard packed gravel?
Yeah, so it
hills?
starts off as bike path, then it was highway for probably 30 or 40 miles, and then you get into the pass, which was Hatcher Pass, which was a mix of tarmac and gravel.
Gravel. What's the crusher look like first day?
The crusher is a much more like, so it's like Alaska is just a long fluid. Everything is long and fluid. Like the next 16 miles are gonna take me this long, and it's just long and slow and steady.
You
Just keep
you
moving.
Can keep a pace going.
You can keep where the crusher is. It's to me much more intense. It's much more. It's not the grand altitude, but there's a lot of like, and you're just it's more snowmobile trails, 2 tracks, RV trails,
The terrain.
single tracks for like my mountain biking, and it just takes you through all of it. And there was no sand in Alaska.
Yeah.
There's no the hike-a-bikes were, up long miles up the hill.
You're not walking
and
the
you're loaded
river.
with gear. Where the crusher is like, it's like, okay, I've got a short steep hill I gotta go up, and then I
Yeah.
can ride down, and then it's mud and sand.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, they're both equally as hard. The 500-mile crusher and the 1,000-mile Alaska Divide were they're insane in different ways.
Yeah, I remember.
I will say the crusher literally that point to point broke my. It crushed my soul.
It crushed your soul, broke your spirit.
Probably I can say the hardest thing.
I remember that us doing the crusher that year in the Moran race, and thinking that they were both equally difficult. But the crusher was because of all the hike-a-bike and going through the rivers and all that stuff. The Moran was tough because you're on the bike so much.
It's a long time in the bike,
Like
and
you're doing long stretches on a bike.
and the pace that you're keeping up for even longer. And with like the Moran too, like with the crusher stuff, you don't fall into these lines of people where you're cruising and you're all hanging speed together.
No,
Where with the Moran, you get into that, like the right group of people, you're
going for
You're
miles.
hauling.
You're going for 40 miles at a
Yeah,
time before you get off the bike. How many miles did you cover each? First day for each one.
the first day. So I was shy probably. I think the first day of the Alaska Divide was about 130.
130.
That was through
Yeah,
that.
the crusher.
Yeah, but we started at 5 in the morning, and I went all day, and I rode until 4:30 the next morning.
4:30,
So
yeah.
I did 23 and a half hours before I took my first nap, and so it took me that far to get 130 miles.
Okay, that was Alaska.
Yep, and
Yeah.
I stopped at a scenic overlook, and I slept on a picnic table.
Sleeping on a picnic table. What about the crusher? How many miles do you think you covered your first day?
The first day of the crusher, I didn't quite make it to Marquette. I made it through Valley Spur.
Yeah.
I got to Valley Spur in the evening, and then I probably made it. It's hard to remember the names of the places, but I just found this tiny town, and I slept on a children's playground set that was covered because it started raining that night.
Oh, it rained on you.
Yeah, I went till about 3:30 in the morning.
You under 100 miles?
Yeah, about 100 miles.
100 miles.
Yep.
Okay, so not far off with you.
Yeah.
A few more miles in Alaska.
And I will say too, the big difference too with obviously for both these, you have a bike computer, a Garmin.
Yeah.
And big. The road's so wide, and you can see for 12 miles into the horizon where the road's going. Right, there's no, you can kind of dummy out a little bit and just keep going. Right, where with the crusher, it's like you can't miss it. You miss a turn, and the turns are literally there's no arrows. There's no. You just there's just an opening like this in the woods right there.
Yeah.
If you miss it, you got to go all the way back.
All the way back.
And then there's a lot of this where you're trying to watch your bike computer, and the UP is just like Alaska where it's not good cell phone service. The bike computers and Garmin's will get off.
Oh yeah.
So that's when it comes to the importance of
studying around.
studying it, doing your research,
Doing your turns.
being aware of where you're at. Which every time I'm doing the crusher, I have no idea like which directions, where the hell I'm at.
We lost you in the crusher. I remember that.
Yeah, I get lost so much.
Yeah.
It's part of the adventure, I suppose.
It's part of the adventure. You get lost and get out of it.
You
get lost and getting found.
Yeah, buddy.
What was day 2 like? How are you feeling? Good?
So the first 3 days total for the divide were I was just tired. I experienced like ass sores like I've never experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And I just kept kind of like pushing through, but I kept stopping a lot, but again trying to stay present in the moment. But day 2 was probably my shortest day. It was hot, and I just wanted to get to that town of Cantwell.
Cantwell.
And so I was just overheating and just.
How many miles is Cantwell from the start line?
From the Cantwell to the starting line was 255.
255. So you covered 130 the first day.
Yeah.
You're shooting for 120-ish.
The next day.
The next day.
Yep.
Okay.
So.
Did you get there?
I got there.
What time?
It was in the evening, probably 7:30 at night.
7:30 at night.
And it was just like, again, the unexpected stuff that you never see happening. But there was a gal that I went to high school with, Carrie Skinner, who who lived and worked near Cantwell. Well, I came into town, and there's people on the side of the road with these road signs that were like, "Go Jeremy, go!"
Oh wow!
And I pulled up on my bike, and it was Carrie Skinner and her friend. So I had gone all that day with no gas stations, and there was a gas station I could see, and I was kind of a little bit loopy. I'm like, let's go to the gas station. So I think I'm gonna stay. Where can I stay? Is there a hotel in this town? Is there a campground? And she called a friend. So from Cantwell, you take the Denali Highway across, which is a 125-mile dirt road with nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm at this gas station knowing that I have to go 125 miles before I get to anything. There's this little old lady that had a cabin on the Denali Highway, and they called her, and this lady that I never met in my life took me in, and she had a guest house. So on night 2, I'm in a bed.
You're in bed.
In this stranger's house on the Denali Highway. It's a house. It was like they call them dry cabins.
Yeah.
But it was, and we're sitting inside eating yogurt, watching American Ninja Warrior on the only channel she got. She's hitting the TV to make it come in.
And so the first night you slept on a picnic table.
The first night was a picnic table. The second night I stayed at this woman's guest house.
In a guest house.
And I will admit, I took. She had a pack of Oreos on the fridge.
Yeah.
And I took the Oreos with me.
You took the Oreos with you.
Took the Oreos.
Yeah. Gotta have nutrition. How long did you sleep the first night?
I slept great that night. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock at night, and I was up at 4:30.
But the first night when you slept on a picnic table, how many?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half of sleep, back up on the bike.
Yep.
On the bike, and then you're to the cabin.
So now we're about the 48-hour mark.
Yeah.
I'm at this woman's house. I've slept an hour and a half.
Slept an hour and a half total.
Yep.
And you're 200 miles in.
I'm about 255 miles
250 miles.
Gearing up in the morning, I'm going to wake up, and every day I was like out riding by 6 a.m.
What does day 2 of the crusher look like?
Day 2 of the crusher looked like I was almost to Marquette.
Yeah.
So I got up in the morning and I rode, and I was, you're coming into Marquette. Well, now keep in mind, I'm doing this on a drop bar, a gravel bike.
Yeah.
And I'm coming into where Marquette, there's a huge amount of single track that you do. And I'd never experienced being out there, and it's like a different world for me personally.
First time riding it.
Yeah, it's mountain bike trails.
Yeah, it's not Glacial Hills.
It's not Glacial Hills, which I'm used to training on,
Yeah.
and so there was that. And so again, a lot of hiking, a lot of walking my bike. Just, probably 50% of the trails in Marquette I walked.
You walked.
Yep.
What's your motivation for both these? What are you thinking about? Day 2, what's keeping you going?
I keep in my mind on that on the times. You start doing mathy things.
Yeah.
It's like if you go down the math rabbit hole, you're like figuring out all of this stuff. But
you're
like
planning the whole trip.
Exactly. In your head, you're trying to keep on target. You're trying to. Again, I got lost in those trails in Marquette, and of course, I call my girlfriend, and she's like, okay, you got to go back. And then it's hard because she's on the phone looking at my location, but it's a delayed.
Oh,
so I'll have to start moving and ride for 10 minutes while I have her on speaker on my bike. And then she's like, okay, stop. Okay, now it's updated. You need to do this. And she'll screenshot a map and she'll circle it, go over here. And I'm like, you know, a lot of that.
You got a support team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It probably saved you.
It saved me almost every event I've done.
Did she do that? Did she do that for you in Alaska too?
Yeah, when I got lost in Anchorage in Alaska.
Yeah.
I got the message before I even stopped. She's like, you're off the course. You need to turn around.
Okay.
And it was only the first day of getting out of Anchorage properly up to Palmer that, and after that I had it. And the last 7.5 days I did without having to ask for where the fuck am I?
Yeah, you made it. What do you hope your kids seeing you do this? What do you hope they learn from this?
I hope that my kids, figure it out long before I figured it out.
Yeah.
I want them to know that, but instead of avoiding the hard things, maybe kind of leaning into them, like finding a way to be excited about doing the hard stuff. It's gonna pay off in dividends in life for you.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have their own struggles.
Yeah, you can't avoid struggles. You might as well jump in.
Also, how I think the big thing for my kids is like, as a young person, so many times you can. Like I'm 23, I fucked up. Now my life's over, and you can fuck up at 23 and you can reinvent yourself by 26. And
over and over again.
And you can be in a different place. In my case, 46 years old, I'm 49 now. I don't even relate to 46-year-old Jeremy anymore.
Yeah.
So the idea that
I think if you're doing life right, you're constantly reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
You're not going to be pigeonholed to.
It's a constant evolution.
Constant evolution.
Yeah.
What's day 3 look like?
The day 3, I woke up at that woman's house where I crashed in the guest house.
You stole her Oreos.
And I'm going to do this Denali Highway. And it's basically the road from Cantwell all the way over to Paxton. It's this long, it's a dirt road. And so it's moose hunting season.
There's nothing there.
Nothing out there, but there's moose hunt. There's tons of side-by-sides and these dome tents with like smoke coming out of the chimneys where these moose hunters had their base camps.
Oh, okay.
So it was beautiful. That was it was fast gravel. There's a lot of up and flowy up and down. There were some uphills, but they weren't like push-up hills. And there's some really nice, beautiful, long downhills. Tundra, you could see, Mount McKinley was out. You could see the range, snow-capped peaks. So I just wanted to get across this highway. And so, I'm having a great day, and then all of a sudden, the wind picks up, and the clouds are swirling, and it starts to rain as I'm going into the evening. And I spotted maybe 20 miles before, they have these remote bathrooms. They're like two-sided. Yeah. And there's just the toilet's just a huge pit that goes down. There's no running water. No electricity. But
are they completely enclosed, or you say
they're completely enclosed? They have locks on the door, and there's two sides. So I ducked into one, and I brought my bike right in. You can lock the door, and so if they're bare or and there's the other side in case someone comes along, they have a bathroom to use too. So I ducked out of the rain. I started thinking, like, these are great little shelters. Yeah. So I knew that I was kind of burning time. The rain wasn't going to stop, so I took off, and it was misting, and then it got dark. Now I'm like still riding in the dark on the Denali Highway. I'm probably.
So this is nighttime.
Nighttime, and I'm about 10 miles before the end, and it just started dumping on me, and I was soaked, and thankfully I came across another one of those bathrooms. So I went in and I stayed the night in basically a porta potty.
What are you eating?
And I could eat, and I slept right on the ground. I had my tent, or I did not bring a tent. I had my sleeping quilt that was a 15 degree.
You didn't bring a tent at all?
No tent.
No tent.
No tent.
What are you eating in the bathroom?
What am I eating in the bathroom? On that night I had
Oreos.
I had Oreos. I had granola, a ton of granola bars.
Granola bars.
Yeah, and I had some protein powder.
Are you having stops to where you can get water along the way in Alaska?
So there is points where you can get water, but they're very, very few and far between. So I made a huge point to, I brought each fork had a 40-ouncer Nalgene. So there's 80. I had 80 ounces of water on my front forks.
Okay.
And then I have 40 down here. So I, at all times, started off with 1 gallon of water on me.
1 gallon of water.
And I can probably go on 1 gallon of water 200 miles.
200 miles.
Yeah.
That's about right.
And I did have a backup filter just in case something happened, like I had a flat and I was stuck out there and it was like just a little straw.
Oh, you drink out
You
of the
can just
stream.
drink out of a creek.
Yeah. Did that ever happen?
No, I never had to use it
Never
once.
used it.
And at the end, after 8.5 days, I was like, why didn't you get rid of this?
Are you still, how are you feeling though during all this?
I'm good. I'm still,
confident?
it's been 2 months now and I'm still on cloud 9.
But how are you feeling on day 3?
On day 3, I was feeling frustrated with, again, like I just was so far behind everyone. I was now at this point 90 miles
You're
in
not
last
seeing
place.
any of the riders.
No. That day, the last 2 guys from Italy passed me on the Denali Highway, and I was
Okay.
like, yeah, we'll see ya.
That was on day 3?
Yeah, but it was mainly the butt sores.
Yeah.
It's hard to sit down. I was like riding my bike like an elliptical, just standing up on it, and
Okay.
And again, that went into the next day, which so I stayed the night in the porta potty. I woke up at 6 o'clock again, and I got to Paxton, which is nothing. There's nothing there. So now I went 125 miles to a town. That's the thing about Alaska. There's this, because it says there's this town on the sign. Here in Michigan, like, oh, I'm going to get to Onaway, and they're going to have a hole-in-the-wall bar. They're going to have a gas station. They're going to have all these things. There's, like, and you spend your 20 hours to get to this place, Paxton.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
There's not even a gas station.
Yeah.
So there's this defeat of, like, I'm soaking wet. I slept on the floor of a porta potty. There's nothing here, and now I have to try to get to Delta Junction, which is over 100 miles. So now I got hardly any supplies, and I got to go 125 miles. The sun's coming up, and my ass I can't even sit down.
Yeah.
So that was the last, day 3, I think would be the last of what I would call the suffering days, where like I was uncomfortable. I just kind of on day 3, I call it lock it in.
Yeah.
And those sores weren't sore anymore.
You totally changed your perspective.
It changed in my head,
to
and I'm like,
flip
okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
But it took 72 hours of working through the jitters and being in the foreign place and just all the unexpected stuff, no matter how much you plan for it,
took that.
I rode my bike. I haven't had an ass sores in a year.
Yeah.
And the first day to have them, like, what a curse.
Yeah. What and I think a lot of that's just mentally, it's your
It's
perspective.
all, I would say
It's
95%
a
mental.
lot of it's in your head.
Yeah, because your legs can physically, you think they're not going to go.
Yeah.
Up here, you'll go another 80 miles.
What's the David Goggins thing? 70% or whatever. If you think you're done, you still have 70% left or whatever.
Yeah. It's true.
It is.
And that's not just with like doing these extreme things. It's like your day to day.
Day to day, for sure.
That's why they're so important. When that business meeting's got you down because things didn't go the way you planned, dude, you got so much left in you.
Yeah, so much
things
left.
are gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
It's gonna change.
Yeah.
What about the Crusher day 3? What's that like?
The day 3 for the Crusher was so I woke up. I made it through those trails again, and it rained. I had to stop at a Dunham's in Marquette.
Okay.
You're leaving Marquette now. You're headed towards.
I know where the Dunham's is.
There's like this like bike path that takes you basically from near Dunham's all the way to this next town, which you go by like Barrel and Beam.
Yeah.
What's that next town?
Is it Ishpeming?
It might be Ishpeming. It's this little town, but I got into that town and I met this guy at Dunham's who was on the same path as me, and he was getting rain gear. So we kind of
He was doing the Crusher too?
He was doing the Crusher too.
Okay.
And he was like just came through the same trails as me. And
Have you been by yourself at this point?
I've been by myself at this point.
Yeah.
So I wish I could remember his name, and I actually rode the next 2 days with him.
Okay.
We came into what's the Ishpeming or
I
Nagani?
think. Nagani. I can't remember what town.
There's one of the two, but they had a laundromat, and he wanted to go set up camp at this pavilion, and I said I'd meet him there.
Yeah.
I went and ate some food. I went to the laundromat, and then this is where it got real wild for me, because I knew that, like, I was looking at the time, and I just wanted to be further ahead than I was. I'm realizing how hard this is on the drop bar.
Yeah.
And it's wherever you leave and you go into the Ramba Trails. That's the town where you go up into where the cliffs and these mines and these caves are.
Oh yeah.
So I decided at 9 o'clock at night, after I got all my stuff done at the laundromat, that I was not going to camp, that I was going to go through the night.
Continue going.
And that's when I started into the beginning of the Ramba Trails at 9 o'clock at night in a thunderstorm. And unbeknownst to me, ahead, all the bridges, there's these wooden bridges back in there and trails.
Yeah.
A lot of it had been wiped out in flooding.
Oh.
So I'm at 9 o'clock at night, dead headlight on my bike, only a headlamp on a drop bar, and I start walking into the woods to try to get to. And I made it through that night at 4:30 in the morning. I came to these two dudes, they were volunteers for the Crusher. And they're like at the parking lot for the Ramba Trails.
Yeah.
And they had music bumping. And they're like, Jeremy. I could hear him yelling. They knew. I don't know if Todd had told him to watch out for this guy.
Yeah.
But the 906, they made a post that morning. And it was me by the fire.
I saw it, yeah.
And the guys are like, you might be cool, but you'll never be a fucking push your gravel bike through the Ramba Trails in a thunderstorm at 9 at night cool.
Yeah.
Which made me feel really good. So that moment is 4:30 in the morning. I laid down.
The Ramba Trails, the most technical mountain bike trails in the Midwest.
Yes,
Yeah.
arguably.
Arguably, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting ready to go start my day to go to the Ramba, but I laid down and I slept for about an hour and I was just shivering. So I got up and I built that fire so it was ripping, and I placed all these sticks around the fire, all my clothes. Well, one of my gloves caught on fire, and my only long john top just like melted. And I just turned away for a second; it was gone. And it was in the fire, so it smelled like burnt rubber. So then the sun came up, and I just said, I'm going into my third day. I slept. I didn't even really sleep. I laid there and shivered. So now I did the Ramba Trails on day 3, and then finally came out of those. And at this point, I don't remember. I knew that I was going to go for Mount Arvon, or at least the trail that was leading to that. And I met up with that guy who I left the night before.
Yeah.
That evening, he rode right up to me. So now it's evening of day 3. There's like a river crossing we had to do.
Yeah.
That was like waist deep. You're pushing your bike through the river. And we came across the river. There's another guy who was putting his stuff together. So now we're all riding, and then this guy pulled over to camp for the night, and I guess he tapped out. I think he called his girlfriend. But Tim and I, we decided we got to get to Arvon, and so now it's getting cold. It's like midnight, 1 in the morning, and next thing you know, like Tim next to me is talking to himself. Tim's not in a good place.
Yeah.
Tim's cold. So I'm like, Tim, let's just stop right here. We're in this 2-track in the middle of nowhere. So literally, we just stopped in the middle of the trail, and he set up a tent. I didn't bring a tent. And I just laid right down on the ground, rolled up into my quilt, and I was freezing and I was shivering. And about an hour later, this light came, and it was that Tim. He started a fire in the middle of that trail. I didn't even hear him getting sticks. So I jumped out of my sleeping bag, and I'm like, Tim, I love you. And we're both grown men in the middle of a dirt trail, fucking laying in this fucking fire. Again, we pay to do these things.
Yeah.
Right? So I said, Tim, I can't sit here anymore. I have to get moving. So on the next night after the Ramba Trail thing where I didn't sleep, this night I don't think I consciously slept like at least more than 30 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm on 2 days without sleep, and I'm going into the 4th day. So that morning I took off from Tim, and we did, I lost him for a ways, and I got to what they call the fucking trail of no return. This is like this. It's like Shush Mountain's face, but with just like a little 2-track and just rocks that go all the way up it. Day 4 was beginning of day 4 was waking up from that, joining the fire with Tim that he built and laying next to Tim on the trail next to this fire. I took off. Tim's getting, putting warm clothes on, and I got to this steep hill. Tim pulled up. He caught me. He's like, okay, this is the trail of no return.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up, carrying my bike all the way up. I can't remember if that was before or after Arvon. That was a blur, but our goal was to get to this town called Lons.
Oh, Lons, right?
And it was a big, long, nice downhill for, going down into Lons. It felt like forever, so it was nice to rest the legs. But we decided we were going to meet at the Subway, Tim and I. And so I met Tim.
The Subway in Lons?
The Subway in Lons. And now we're on day 4.
Did you go to the hilltop and get a cinnamon roll?
I did not. I was trying to keep moving because I could see how hard it was. It was slipping away, the reality of being able to get this done in time.
Yeah.
So now we're on day 4, but keep in mind that the last 2 days, day 2 and 3, were without any sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm on day 4, being up now.
There's not a lot in Lon. I'm surprised.
Not a lot. There's the Subway, but it was
the Pat's Foods there.
Heavy for me because the only person that was with me, decided that Subway he was going to tap out.
Yeah.
He was done. And I tried to talk him into keeping going for a second, but that's a decision he made. So I knew that I wanted to leave Lons, and I was going to go until I got to Houghton.
Okay.
But I didn't realize how far, it actually was. So I literally left Lons with a sub in my backpack, and I just started booking it for Houghton. But I rode all through that day, and it just started dumping rain. And I'm it's 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'm soaked. My backpack soaked. All my stuff soaked.
What's the trek look like between Lons and Houghton?
There's a lot of. This was more like 2 tracks and just backcountry roads.
Okay.
So you could get moving. There wasn't a lot of turns. No single track.
Yeah. So
it started to get dark that night, and I got confused. I looked at, according to my map and everything, I had figured I talked to some locals at this little general store. They said you're about 25 miles to Houghton, where the bridge that you cross is. And so I'm cruising, and all of a sudden, I still don't know where I was, but it was turn, and I turn, and it's this little park, and I'm going, and all of a sudden it's becoming more and more narrow, and it's actually water I'm in, about up to my knee. And it's raining, and it's a very thin trail, and it's ferns, so the ferns are drooping.
Yeah.
I'm tired. It's probably 2 a.m. now, and I'm literally standing in water. I'm cold, I'm soaked, and I don't know where I am. And my bike computer's about to die. My headlights were about to die. All of my chargers on day 4 were not charged. I'm on my last charger, and I'm just starting to get into panic mode.
You're getting in panic mode.
So I basically, it was literally moment to moment, 20 feet at a time. 20 feet at a time. I came to this creek. I crossed the creek, and I came up, and then I found this single track, and I went on it, and then it took me several hours to get through the water and I kept crossing creeks, and I was completely lost. I could see the lights at this point now of Houghton.
Yeah.
And as I made it through the single track, and I came into Houghton at 4:30 in the morning, again now, I'm at that same place I'm at where I'm tired, I'm soaking wet. I literally laid on my back in downtown Houghton, and I shut my eyes, and at 5:30 my phone dinged, and it was Paula, my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she's like, you got to get up and go. She's like, I see that there's a Dunkin' Donuts about 200 yards from you, and it's open. So I went to Dunkin' Donut, and when they opened, and I ordered 2 breakfast sandwiches and a coffee, and I was so out of it that I left. I paid for it. loaded up my bike and I took off.
Just
I left
took
my
off.
coffee and the 2 breakfast sandwiches, and then I got across the bridge, and I knew that there was a bunch of single track that I was going through again, and I was lost, frustrated, and then I just kept pushing forward, kept going, and I ended up hooking up with this. It was mid-morning now, and I had this long gravel 2-track, and I was heading towards Calumet.
Yeah.
And I ended up upon this area that they call Swedetown.
Seatown trails.
And in Swedetown, you had just this little 1 or 2 mile loop. And this is a very simple, very easy, very navigable 2-track, almost for kids.
Yeah.
And I freaking got lost
You got lost
on
in
that. So at this point, I was just,
You're at the
I
bottom.
was thinking about tapping out.
Were you?
I had made the call to Paula, who was now, I don't know what day this is, but think it was it's Saturday. She's getting ready to do her crusher,
Yeah.
the Crusher 40.
What's day 4 look like for Alaska though?
Day 4 of Alaska would have
Are
been
you still
1,
positive? You still?
2,
You gonna
3.
make it?
Yeah, because I made it on day 3 up to Delta Junction, through Delta Junction, and I'm now heading towards where you're going to go on the outskirts of Fairbanks. So I found another one of those porta potties, and I stayed the night in that. So I started day 4. This was where I really found my mark. I knew that there was a town. I set my goal for a town called Living Good.
Living good.
Living Good, however
Living
you
good,
say
yeah,
it.
I like living good.
And this ended up being that day. That was probably my worst experience with the whole Alaska trip, where I was just trying to get to Living Good, and so I rode up through Fox and this little hilly country, and then it was like I got to this. It was later at night, 7 or 8 in the evening, and it was like, Living Good's like 60 something miles. But in between where I was and Living Good, and keep in mind, I learned that Living Good was just a name on a sign.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. So I
You
went.
could have known this if you would have researched it before you went out.
If I would have researched it, yeah. Definitely that would have
take the
helped.
fun out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that I rode all through that night until about 2:30 or 3 in the morning. And I made it through this, what they call Wickersham Pass, which I didn't know about. It's a huge, like 10% grade mountain pass that you go through. And it's just no cars, complete darkness, no cell phone service. Every 2 or 3 hours, a semi would just blaze by you. And the road was muddy. But I came into this area, and it was literally like something out of a dream. There was a wooden barrel stove in the middle of nowhere. It was just burning, and there's a fire in this wooden barrel in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, this is like so bizarre. So I took my clothes off that were wet, and I laid them on the barrel, and like steam was coming. Everything was dry, and I had all my packs. There was a little pavilion with a couch, and it was called the Yukon Trading Company. So I got unpacked. I'm warm. I'm feeling safe. I'm going to stay here for the night. And I'm going to continue, and I hear this voice say, "You can't stay here tonight." And I looked over, and it was this woman. And what they do is they bring tour buses into this spot, and they do it in the night so they can see the northern lights.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was like, I started pleading with this woman, like, "Hey, like, I'm cold, I'm hungry, I can't go any further." She's like, "Yeah," and she kept doing this real positive, like, "Oh, you're going to do great. You're going to do fine. You just can't do it here." You know? So frustrated, she's like, "You got 16 miles to live in good, or live in good." She didn't say that when you get to there's nothing there. So I packed up, and I was very defeated. And this is one of the special magical parts of the story. She's like, "There's a guy that has a cabin up on the hill across the street. He's a really nice guy. You should go talk to him." I'm like, I'm not going to knock on someone's door. So I rode, and I got to the sign that said "Live and Good this way, 2 miles." Well, the snow had pushed the sign like this. So now I turned. I shouldn't have turned.
Yeah, you went the wrong way.
So it's 2:30 in the morning, and I went all the way down this road, and I realized I'm like on an Alaskan 2-track. They call them spur roads.
Yeah.
So I knew that like it would be best if I was cold, if I just stopped and laid down. So I just pulled over, I got my quilt out and I laid down, and it must have been 2 hours later, this truck kind of came to a stop, and the window was like, "Are you okay?" And it was this man, Carl. He had a big white beard and he worked for the Department of Transportation. He's like, "If you go down this 2-track, go over a little wooden bridge, there's a DOT building. If you see my truck there, come on in. I'll have coffee on." And they had washer and dryers. I dried my clothes. I had coffee in this, where diesel mechanics are all working in this shop.
Yeah.
And long story short, Carl was the guy at the house on the hill.
He had the cabin.
He was the only guy on a 100-mile stretch of road that had and he lived off grid.
Yeah.
So I ended up meeting that man.
Yeah.
So it's just how funny how connected everything is.
Yeah.
So I made friends with these guys at the DOT. I had coffee, I dried my clothes, and then right there, that was the beginning of the Jack Dalton Highway.
Okay.
425 miles to the finish line. One road, all dirt, over the Continental Divide.
Or the Continental Divide.
Yep.
All right, day 5. Back at day 5 with Jeremy VanSice, the endurance cyclist, master cider maker, OG punk rocker, skater.
Yeah,
Everything.
all of it.
All of it. And after taking a week break between this, when we first talked about doing this video, I didn't know how to break it down. We should go every 100 miles we're talking, however we're doing this, how we're going to break it down. I'm so glad we did it in days, because I think 1,000 miles and 500 miles is so abstract to the normal person that when you really, we're on day 5 right now, that you've been out on your bike in the middle of the woods in Alaska and the UP, so it's super impressive, and it's been cool to hear this story. But day 5, where you at? Where you at in Alaska?
So day 5 in Alaska, I think we got to the point when we last talked where I can at least start where let's take it from just coming into, so I got day 5. I think I got us through Fairbanks and up through Cold Foot, where I met the gentleman who took me into the DOT station where I did the laundry and stuff.
Yeah.
He found me on the side of the road. So I took off. I left that morning from Living Good, and it was kind of a fairly short day. I was really tired, and I wanted to get to the Yukon River. And right at the Yukon River, there's like what they call a camp. So
What's a short day look like?
a short day looked like for me, that was I think 75 miles, but
Short day,
it was
75
the start of the Jack Dalton Highway.
Okay.
Which is the last section of the whole Alaska Divide race. It's 425 miles of dirt road. That's the length of the Jack Dalton Highway.
So down to 400 miles.
Yeah, so I was just super tired of that rough night where I slept on the side of the road and I was super cold. So, but the beginning of the Jack Dalton Highway too, so it was like 65 miles to go to the Yukon River camp.
Okay.
And it was just, 2,000 foot climb down, 2,000 foot climb. I did that it was probably 8,000 or 9,000 feet in 65 miles.
Oh, wow.
So when I came into the camp, I went in and kind of checked in to get a room at this place. I was going to sleep in a bed that night. So I talked to the people at the front desk, and when I had got there, all of the other riders had stayed the night before, so I had just missed them by a couple hours, and they left, and they were leaving from the Yukon River, and they were going to get to Cold Foot, and that's about a 130-mile trek. But they left. I came in, it was starting to thunderstorm. So I got to spend that day resting, and everybody was headed for Cold Foot. So I guess that day was hellish on all of them, super muddy, and they had tons of mountain passes they were going through. So I decided to stay and rest for 24 hours. I got to sleep in the bed and shower and clean up my bike. And so I woke up the next morning, they were all getting to Cold Foot. And at that point, they had all made the decision, we're toast. We're going to stay here for 24 hours. So I left the Yukon River camp, headed for Cold Foot the next day.
And it all through the day, all into the evening, and late at night, I had got there, and there was one of those riders, like, we're all going to meet at the breakfast buffet at 5 a.m. because they have the breakfast buffet for all the truck. That was like a big stop for all the truck drivers on the Jack Dalton Highway.
So they're ahead of you, though.
Yeah, thankfully they decided that they're going to rest for 24 hours, where I had done that while they made their move.
Okay.
So I was coming into Coldfoot, and I had about 5 hours now. I did 135 miles that day through the mountains, and when I got there, they're like, we're all leaving at 5 in the morning. So I made the decision that I was going to leave with them
at the same time.
So here we are now, 234 miles from the Arctic Ocean, and potentially it was 2 days to break that up.
Yeah.
I met at the breakfast buffet, and that's when I had the 1 gallon Ziploc bag, and I kept going to the buffet, and I was just shoving it full of sausage links. And so I left that morning with 150 sausage links in my backpack. So there's that was the last. There's no places to get anything from that point. You got 230 miles to go, and you also had to go over the Continental Divide and the highest point on this entire adventure, which is the Adigan Pass.
Okay.
So we met at the breakfast buffet. I loaded up on sausage. All the riders, we just kind of took off gently. We were all riding together, but I was listening to them talk, and what I heard is our goal is to get here. We're gonna stay here tonight. Everybody I could hear was camping one more night. They're gonna break up that 230 miles. So I thought to myself, if I'm not as strong as all these riders, if I'm going to make my move, this is my opportunity. And so this is where my crusher training really paid off, where I'm gonna go from here all the way to the end without stopping. These guys are gonna camp. This is my chance to
200 miles.
Make my move. So that day we all left at 5:30 in the morning after the breakfast, and we're all, and sure enough, I watched every rider go into the horizon ahead of me. So now I'm back in last place again.
You're back.
So the most magical part of it was about, 40 or 50 miles, 60 miles maybe too, at the Adigan Pass, which is the top of the Continental Divide. So what's very special, this is the most special day for me personally, because I brought my dad's ashes. My dad passed away from cancer maybe 4 years ago, and right before he passed, my brother asked him the question, Dad, what's the most beautiful place you've ever been? What's the most beautiful spot you've been in your entire life? 65 years on this planet. And he said there's the top of the Continental Divide in Alaska, the Adigan Pass. So I'd made up my mind before I brought my dad's ashes with me, and I knew that I was going to leave him in the Adigan Pass. So we're going into the last day. I was feeling, I hit that mark where I wasn't sore anymore. I was just kind of locked in. So I got to the top of the Adigan Pass, and my dad used to go there sheep hunting. So I'm it's hard to put into a perspective, but I can say it's here I am all by myself, no cars, no humans. I'm at the highest point in the Continental this adventure, the top of the Continental Divide in the Adigan Pass, and I looked up, and there's a little sheep just looking down at me riding through.
Okay.
So I stopped, and I can show you in the pictures I have. I saw this river, and I knew that's where my dad's going. Yeah. So I dropped in the backside of the Continental Divide, the Adigan Pass, and I go down to this river. I parked my bike, and I got his ashes out, and I went down to this. It was a little bit of a trek to get down there. I did this little ceremony where I spread my dad's ashes. Well, I got back up to my bike, and it was 38 degrees out that morning. It was pretty cold and wet, muddy.
Sheep still there?
And as soon as I got back to my bike and I kind of geared up, the sky just opened up and was blue. And I looked down, the road went into the horizon, and that river kind of went along the road. So I had this real nice, just kind of idea that I was riding. My dad his ashes were going in the river. Oh. I was riding along. The sun came out. It went up 10 degrees, so it was comfortable riding, and it was just so beautiful. And so I looked down at my bike computer, and I remembered there was a certain point on this trip, because keep in mind, I've only biked 3 years. And I quit drinking and drugging, and I bought a bicycle, and that was like and that's I could go into a whole story about how you've inspired me.
Yeah.
You were already cycling, and anyway, that's a whole different story we can get to. But so I stopped, and I wanted to compare how many days sober I had to how many miles as I was on the Alaska Divide.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I can show you a picture. I made a sign. I was on 883 days sober, and I was on 800. I'm like, it lined up 883 days sober, and I was on mile 883 of the Alaska Divide in that moment, and that was within like 25 minutes of spreading my dad's ashes.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I had this like, it was just like all these things lined up for over the course of 3 years, planning this trip, getting sober, planning on bringing my dad with me, and not knowing what mile I'd be at when I was gonna. So it's just like, I don't know, it's one of the greatest days of my life, and probably definitely the best part of the whole experience.
Yeah.
So I got like really hyped, and in that moment, I'm like, I'm going through the night.
Yeah.
I'm going through the night. So
Now you saw sheep. What other kind of wildlife have you seen?
I saw herds of caribou. You know, and they were like, there's one point where this one herd was just kind of jogging north, and I was just riding my bike north, and for hours, just like right over 100 yards away with these caribou were just going along with me, which was also very surreal.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up so I left at 6 in the morning.
Did you see any moose?
I saw moose in the first mile. Everybody had to stop because there was a moose blocking the trail.
Yeah.
We were like from here to that wall
You saw a bear? I remember.
It's like three grizzlies across the road, a mom and 2 babies.
What did that feel like?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I would personally be terrified if I saw.
Yeah.
I saw a black bear here on my bike and it freaked me out.
Yeah, I had a bunch of mud in my bottom bracket, so when I was riding, it was like, and like the bears looked at me and they took off.
Oh, okay.
I actually remember thinking, like, I wish I could have gotten closer.
Yeah.
And
what about the Crusher? Did you see any wildlife in the UP there?
Yeah, the Crusher, I had a great experience in the night with I had my headlamp on, and I kind of looked over, and there was like a deer like just 10 feet was like looking at me, and I stopped, and we're just like looking at each other, and that was real cool.
And so day 5 of the Crusher, this is your final day.
Final day of the Crusher. You left
Swedetown last night.
Left Swedetown. I had called my girlfriend and messaged her like, I think I'm done. I don't really realistically seeing myself getting there in time, knowing I was just coming into copper country and how tough it was going to be, especially on a drop bar.
And you're almost there. I mean,
almost there.
Harbor is not that far.
Yeah, and Paula said to Todd, she's like, he's in Calumet, he's leaving Swedetown, and Todd told Paul, he's like, if he can do it if he gets after it.
Yeah.
So I rode, and I got lost a few times. I think there's a little town of Mohawk.
Mohawk, yeah.
And I got lost around there, but I got back on track. And then at some point in the evening, this is when I met a gentleman named Forrest. Forrest was on his own journey. He was doing the 100 mile.
Yeah.
And so they had the 100 milers going one way. They had the 200 milers going a different way. And at this point, my bike computer crashed, and I didn't know where I was at, but I ran into Forrest, and I was just I'm like, I'm just going to stay with him. In my mind, I thought the 100 milers connected to the same as the point-to-pointers, and we were all going to finish the same.
Yeah.
Turns out at the very end, I found out I was wrong.
You found out.
But it was really cool because we got to, we went into Eagle Harbor together, and we ended up going through the night together, going up Brockway together.
You stopped at the Jam Pot?
I didn't see it was dark when we passed through all of that stuff, but.
So you're doing from Swedetown to Copper Harbor. You're doing this in the dark.
The last bit.
Stretch.
And we rode through the night, and
because it finishes on a Sunday.
Finishes on Sunday morning. I think the time cutoff was like
8 o'clock, 9
something
o'clock.
9:30, something like that. And we were about 2 miles from the finish line, and Paula pulled up in her car, and she had messaged me. She's like, "Do you want me to pick you up, or do you want me to see you at the finish line?" And I was like, I don't know. I was delirious and confused. I thought she was just talking about the ride home.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck am I going to get home if you don't pick me up? So I'm like, of course I want you to pick me up. So she came to pick me up.
Yeah.
So 2 miles before the finish line, Paula pulls up in her car. She's like, "Hey, you throw your bike on the back?" And to me, at this point, I'm still not aware that I was off course.
Yeah.
I'm like, "I got 2 miles to go. I'm not getting in the car with you." She's like, "Oh, honey," she's like, "you've been off course since Eagle Harbor."
Oh.
She's like, I can take you back and drive you back to Eagle Harbor. Now you got to do 60 miles of this rugged copper country in 6 hours.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I was still convincing myself that she was wrong and I'd done it right, and I was rationalizing. So came into the finish line and I completed 528 miles, but the last 30 of it,
You went the wrong way.
I was off course, so it didn't. So they felt bad. They gave me my green dot to put up,
Yeah.
knowing that just because they're
Now the green dot is what
like, you've earned this green dot.
What is the green dot?
The green dot is it's like signifies that you've completed.
They have the big board.
They have a big board. It's got everyone's name, and I don't know is there a red dot?
There's a red dot, I think, for the disc if you don't do it.
Yeah, like hashtag quittered or.
Yeah.
So I got to, and it was I didn't make it. I didn't get disqualified.
Disqualified.
But
you finished. You won a
I
500.
finished, and I'm going to go back
Impressive.
this year again in July,
'cause you gotta
and I'm
do
going
it
to do the
again.
point to point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to,
Get
it's
your
the
green
same
dot.
course close to, and I'm going to
What,
train harder and
2024, you did the 300-mile point-to-point where you did get a green dot.
350, yeah, I got the green dot on that. It actually ended up being 385, and I finished 7 minutes.
7 minutes before that.
Yeah, 36 people finished. I was
Yeah.
36.
You're number 36.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
But I mean-
whole other story, too. That's insane.
Yeah.
My chain broke 2 miles before the finish line, and
Oh, yeah. I remember
the
this.
link fell in the sand, and I scooped out found it in the sand.
Yeah.
And a gentleman was also finishing his ride, and he helped. I didn't know how to put a chain back together, and he helped me, and we kept dropping it. Our hands were shaking, and I
Yeah.
barely got the chain back on and finished.
That seems to be consistent throughout these events for you, Jeremy, is to be unprepared.
Unprepared.
For things to just fall in line for you to
Yeah.
happen. You're letting it happen as it happened, you know.
That's where the magic happens. You put
There's-
yourself out there, and
I mean, what does your training look like for this? Your training and nutrition. What was your nutrition plan
for the Crusher,
Crusher and Alaska?
you can
Joe,
only
you
do
went-
so much on these long distance where you have to stop and get, and at some point halfway in, you just start housing. With the Alaska one, I was burning 8,000 or 9,000 calories a day. You can't put enough in you.
You doing gel packs?
The gel packs only like on the long stuff. It's like I feel like gels are great for like 100 mile or
Yeah.
something where you're at 60 or 70 and you're bonking. Like gels are gonna get you through that last 3 or 4 hours. But on day one of 900 miles more to go, the gels are kind of like
you're eating whatever.
I did like discover in Alaska. I did develop a small Red Bull addiction.
Yeah, you got some.
Yeah, I was dumping Red Bulls in my water bottles, so I'd have like a gallon of water and maybe like 20 ounces of it were Red Bulls.
Well, what does the training look like for these events? You doing strength training? You doing all kinds of?
Not really strength training, which I plan on doing this year more as I'm gonna.
You're just riding your bike when you have.
I just go out and ride my bike. I ride my bike everywhere. I ride my bike to work. I ride my
Yeah.
bike home from work. I'll try to get up and squeeze 10 in. I'll go on a weekend. I try to do a long ride, which is like a 50 or 60, 70 miles in a week.
Yeah, I think there's something special about the discipline of laying your gel packs out and figuring out a nutrition plan, figuring out a strict training regimen and all these things. I think there's something really special about that, but I think there's also something really special about just letting it unfold the way you do it.
That's to me why I love it so much is the way
you're letting it happen.
Just get yourself there.
Yeah.
Believe in it. Believe in yourself, and there hasn't been a single thing that I've done where I haven't like met a complete stranger that has like literally transformed my life in that moment where, it's all the stuff that you don't plan for. You can, and I love that too. I like laying my gels out and thinking like I'm gonna do this on this day, and by day one, like everything's out the window.
Yeah.
My first day one of Alaska, I didn't make where I was going to get to. Day one of the Crusher, like I didn't make it as far as I wanted. I didn't stay where I wanted. I was cold and wet, you know. And I had planned for all that, but when you're in that moment, you're like, shit, you know. This is.
Well, for me, it's exciting because I had the memory when we did the Moran 166 together, and you finished a little while after I did, and that last checkpoint they had placed right next to the finish line, and they told us that's where everybody drops out. You know, at 140 miles, that's where you drop out. And watching you get there before, not far before the cutoff, because they had a cutoff that they weren't gonna let you finish. And it's getting dark, and seeing your yellow bike get to that checkpoint and watching you go out and finish it in the dark.
Again, my chain broke at the end of that, and I had to run my bike all through the last
little bit.
200 yards.
Yeah, you still finished though.
Still finished.
Yeah. So
I think I was last. I think of 92 people that year finished. I was 90th.
Saw this monster in the development of you. I saw, you know, so I knew you were going to finish Alaska. I knew you were going to finish the Crusher because you finished things, you know. It's impressive, you know. And actually, between this week that we took off, between filming, I was thinking of the one time we went through those trails in Bel Air, and I told you I found these trails last fall, and we should go ride them, and it was springtime.
The spicy day?
The spicy day.
We were going through the muck on the way out to the
muck,
past Craven.
It was disgusting, and I remember thinking, I'm going to take them through these trails. It's going to be fun, you know, watch them kind of suffer through these trails. And we both suffered in those trails.
Sure.
But every time I turned around, we're hiking our bike over trees and walking through
the muck.
Through the muck, 6 inches of water were back there. And you're smiling the whole time.
I love it.
You loved it the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny that we choose to do that for recreational
that,
and have fun. Yeah. There's something to be said about that.
Yeah. So you're done with the Crusher. You reached the finish line. You're in Copper Harbor.
Yep. And for me, that was the first time of all these in 3 years of getting sober, getting into biking, and then taking on these events, the Crusher 100, the Moran 166, the Coast to Coast. I kept completing them, so I hadn't dealt with what it's like to not meet your goal or to get disqualified. So that was my first real, you failed.
Yeah.
So it was real hard on me, and in doing so, I ended up developing, getting some health issues in the Crusher, point to point, the 500 miler. I did the math. I slept like 9 hours in 5 days. Really, really hard on me. I was having some heart racing issues, and I was just kind of the whole ride. I had like crying attacks, and it was just real tough. So, but again, that in that whole process, what I learned later, and I didn't realize it at that time, was it helped me so much for Alaska.
Oh, okay.
To do the Crusher, and then 4 weeks later, you're in Alaska, doubling that length. I can't speak enough about how much the Crusher you're not losing, you're not making your mark, but it was so good for me.
Yeah.
So good for me going into Alaska.
And I'm sure that not finishing the Crusher provided you with extra motivation to finish Alaska.
Yeah, it went from I'm never doing this again to within you kind of lick your wounds, and I am going back this year.
And you're gonna
I'm certainly doing it again.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kick its ass, I hope.
Yeah, that's part of the addiction I think with this, it's you want to finish.
Yeah.
You want that green dot.
For sure. 41 people started that, and 14 people finished. That's
the Crusher.
The Crusher point to point.
Yeah. That's not good statistics.
No, it's not.
No.
I'm sure Todd likes it.
Yeah.
Sure, he wants to make it harder.
Yeah, make it harder for everyone.
And I had a good talk with him on the phone. I called him because, the green dot was on that board, and so it's I talked to Todd, and I was off course.
Yeah.
Although it appeared that I finished under the time limit, I was off, and he was very encouraging. He laughed. He's like, I watched your dot out there, and you were in some of the most odds. I did the Ramba trails at night. I came through at night.
Yeah.
On a drop bar gravel bike in a thunderstorm. He's like, I watched your dot, and there wasn't a moment I wasn't laughing at you.
Yeah.
So
You were set up to lose, but
I set myself up.
set yourself up.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was one of the funnest times I've ever had losing. I'll
yeah,
tell you
it's
that
almost
much.
like, people go through their training regimens and they do all these things to prepare for these things, to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
You're training for one of these events you want it to wear on your body the least amount. You want to be able to complete it and make it the experience easy as possible and as smooth as possible. It's almost like you wanted to do the opposite of that. I want to make this this is a very difficult thing I'm going to do. How can I make this more difficult?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great.
Because that's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic.
The harder it gets, the more you suffer. That's when the most beautiful, and you would never know that unless you lean into that or put yourself out there like that,
It's almost like, I think I heard one time, like you have all this chaos going on internally, that when you create chaos externally, it kind of helps mask that chaos that's going on internally.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
It's like for biking, for me, one quiets the mind.
Yeah.
And the more these situations, believe it or not, like it's when I can feel the most calm, most peaceful.
Yeah, I know for me therapeutically, the most difficult bike rides were always the most fulfilling. Those are the ones you remember. You don't remember the easy bike rides.
Nah.
You don't remember the easy.
Yeah.
I think in general you don't remember the easy experience as much as you learn difficult things.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think those are the things.
And everybody out there, it's not like you're racing each other. It's like you're racing yourself. You're creating your own. I think everybody out there has kind of got the same kind of take on it.
Right, going to these different endurance events before, for me, I always thought this is just a bunch of people who don't want to see therapists.
Sure.
That's what all it is. It's
my people.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of people that just I don't want to go to therapy. I'm going to go do this instead.
Yeah, there's something like you can be honest. You can have conversations with yourself. Also, like most of my most creative ideas I've ever had have popped into my brain out on these trails, out on a bike.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. Okay, Alaska, you're in the last couple days. We're on day 7.
Yes, I left at 6 in the morning. I rode all through the night, and since everybody was ahead of me, I didn't know, but each of them had stopped and camped at a different spot. And so I rode through the night, and I woke in the morning. The sun was coming up. I had 90 miles to go to the finish line, and at some point my phone dinged because you're in and out of cell phone service. And I looked, and it was my girlfriend Paula. She's like, dude, you're in second place. I'm like, what? I went from 80 miles in last place on day 1 to now I'm in second place, which again I just couldn't believe her. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not true. Like, something must be up with the live tracking. So I rode through the day. It's getting into the evening, and I have 27 miles to go. 27 miles, and I'm done. And all of a sudden, it like turned gray and black, and it started sprinkling, and then it turned into a downpour. And I'm on my last. I have one set of clothes left in my bag, so I stopped and changed. I'm like 27 miles. Change into some dry clothes, put on some warm stuff. It's super cold, 30-mile-an-hour headwind. But I was super tired. I was falling asleep on my bike. And so I just you got 27 miles to go. That 27 miles took 9 hours.
Oh.
It took 9 hours to do that last 27 miles. And that's when the guy from Switzerland, 7 miles to go, he got past me. And that's when he's like, yeah, we heard you riding by us. We were all in our tents, and we heard a noise and saw your light, and you rode by all of us camping in the middle of the night. So I did, in fact, pass them.
Yeah.
And I was right but they're such strong. He was such a strong rider. He slept 4 hours and got up, caught me, and passed me.
Oh.
I'm talking about a guy who lives from Switzerland. He trained in the Alps his whole life. I mean, he was a tough dude.
What were you thinking? What meal were you thinking about when you're done? I want this.
I wanted ice cream.
You want ice cream?
I wanted to house so much ice cream.
You just wait for ice cream.
And believe it or not, they had those camps. I got and stayed at a camp when I got to Dead Horse. And it's basically $150 a night, and they have a 24-hour open cafeteria.
Okay.
and all these fridges, and if you pay to stay there, it's all you can eat whenever you want to eat.
Yeah.
They had a whole fridge of ice cream.
Okay.
Every kind of ice cream you can imagine. They had freaking drumsticks and little things of Ben and Jerry's, and I probably ate a gallon of ice cream at the end. But I also, when I crossed the finish line, I had 10 hours till my plane left.
Yeah.
So like as much as I'd been up for 38 hours, I wanted to go face down into my bed. I had to clean my bike, take it apart, pack it into a box, eat food, and arrange getting to the airport, which was like 4 miles away.
There's the airport right up
And
there.
you had to get your photo in front of the dead horse sign, otherwise you were disqualified.
Oh, really?
So I slept like 3 hours. I got up and then I'd get on my bike and ride to take a picture with this sign, ride my bike back, then take it apart, then get to the airport. So when I arrived in Anchorage, or Fairbanks, 6 hours later, my socks were still wet.
Yeah.
I was like still shivering.
So it took you, what, 6 hours to do the last 27 miles?
9 hours.
9 hours to do the
Do
last.
27 miles. When typically that's like an hour and a
It's
half.
raining on you the whole time?
Raining, snowing
cold,
sideways.
snowing?
Yeah, and I was really
You're at
having.
the Arctic Circle here.
I mean, it was at this point, I wasn't even riding my bike. I was walking, and it was just like one step in front of the other, one step slowly. Cars were pulling up to me like, "Are you okay, man? You can throw your bike in the back." And I'm like, no.
can't.
Yeah, but the Alaskans people were like, it's like you're gonna die out here.
It is cold.
And I certainly wasn't gonna die, but in that moment, I felt like,
Oh, sure.
of all the races I had done, that last 7 miles was.
The last 7, so you're 900.
It was the hardest thing.
Miles.
Yeah, just I counted every step was just like every mile took forever.
What now? So you're finished and you're on day. What time of day did you finish?
It was about just before dark. I guess it was probably, I don't know, 8 in the evening, 8 at night.
Okay.
Yep.
What's that finish line look like?
The Dead Horse is just dark, depressing, and cold. It's just oil rigs everywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of roughnecks, a lot of just nothing, just
Is it a
derricks.
town?
It's a little tiny town. It's like there's no there's like a post office that has a general store, attached to it. Not a lot, nothing.
You don't have anybody waiting there for you?
No, nothing.
You're on your own.
No, but the guy from the Czech Republic who got first place, he was in the lobby of my hotel when I went in, and then the guy from Switzerland stayed at the same place. So I just sat there eating ice cream, and I was talking to these guys that could barely speak English. We did the best, but everyone looked so rough,
Oh, I'm sure.
and we were all just we were all on a different planet.
How many people finished?
7 people finished.
7
11
people.
started.
11 started.
Yep.
What place were you at the finish line?
Third.
You finished in third place?
Third place. Yep.
Yeah, because you rode through the night.
Yeah, because I rode through the night. Had I not done that,
Yeah.
that changed everything.
So
but again, a testament to the Crusher for teaching me what it's like to ride through the night and ride through the night again and to be tired. Like, it was. I even thought to myself, like, all right, Crusher mode.
Yeah.
I'm going into Crusher mode.
And there's a hotel you went to in Dead Horse?
It's in Dead Horse.
Dead Horse.
It was like a Connex unit with a cafeteria attached to it.
And that was where you ate all the ice cream?
That's where I ate all the ice cream.
You just crushed the ice cream?
Yep.
Then you get on a plane from Dead Horse. You fly
Yeah,
out
I had
Anchorage.
I had to buy clothes at the Anchorage airport because all my clothes were soaking
So
wet. I threw
wet.
everything out and I looked like a tourist coming home. I had Alaska sweatpants on and an Alaska t-shirt.
Oh, that's cool. Now the finish line of the Crusher, what's that look like?
Funeral line of the Crusher was like, 7 in the morning. The sun was just coming up. It's so fun to finish the 906 events. The
People there.
people are hyped and they're making burgers and I had an NA beer
Yeah.
and get lots of hugs, lots of like cheering each other on, camaraderie, and it was a good sense of I did it.
Okay, now the Crusher, did you come right back to home after that? Did you stay up in Copper Harbor?
I went. A friend of mine, Jim Houston, had rented a house right there in Copper Harbor.
Okay.
And I went to his house, took a shower. Paula helped undress me, got me in the shower, and then tucked me into bed. And she was feeding me food the whole time. And about 3 hours later, she woke me up. She's like, "We gotta head back."
Yeah. What's work look like Monday, going back after the Crusher or the Alaska Divide?
Mainly
what's
it's just
real
like
life
it was
look
all
like?
it's just like a little bit of sadness from not completing it the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, "How'd you do?" All these people are excited, knew that I was there doing it, and I purposely tell a shitload of people when I'm going to do. Some people are guarded about it.
Yeah.
I tell everybody I'm doing as many people as I can to put that kind of pressure on me. So when I'm out there on the trail, I'm like, "Oh, I gotta finish this. I'm gonna see Sam and Karen on Monday. I gotta, they're gonna be like, how'd you do?"
Yeah.
So it also puts. I like that kind of pressure that's self-induced. Whereas Paula, when she won't tell anybody. Like she'll just be like, "Oh, I just I did an ultra on Saturday." Surprise, yeah.
You were not doing this alone. I was tracking you the whole time, both of these events. I followed you on the tracker, and I know other people did too. It wasn't just me. So you were small town. The whole small town was there with you.
Yeah. I feel
it.
like in a way that helps when I'm out there, like I'm riding for everyone, like my community.
Yeah, that
I'm representing,
Like, how did you raise the funds to do the Alaska thing?
So the Alaska one that's the beautiful thing. That's one point I wanted to make is that I wouldn't have been able to have that opportunity with like the logistics and it gets expensive with like registration, airfare, feeding yourself 10 days, missing work.
Oh yeah,
is completely community supported.
Yeah,
and we did a Kickstarter video, which we raised. We met our goal. I think it was, or at least we got close to the goal. I think our goal was like 3,000. We got to like 2,500. But I had a change jar behind the bar where I work, and everybody was just throwing their change at me. And believe it or not, just in change, I was able to register, pay for my airfare. And the amount of gear that I needed, was like with chargers and charging cords, and you start kind of planning. You're like, oh, you can spend money quick on the gear. Yeah, bike parts, upgrading your bike packs. I didn't have any of that stuff. And
what kind of bike parts did you bring with you for both these events?
So I brought I have tubeless tires, but I brought a tube in case the tubeless tire was the tubeless setup was punctured.
Yeah.
Slap a tube in, and I just had like the bare minimum, like the tools for like adjusting, like Allen wrenches. And then I had I didn't bring a bike pump, but it's just a little thing you put on and you can squeeze a CO2 cartridge.
CO2, yeah.
Which, by the way, going there and coming back were all confiscated at the airport.
Were they?
And for what it's worth, you can't bring CO2 cartridges on your carry-on.
Yeah. That's more than I assumed. I thought you were going to say no bike parts.
Yeah. You had to have a GPS tracking device, which was purchased for me by somebody through the Kickstarter, reached out.
Oh.
And that was, it's a $400, the Garmin InReach tracker. That's $400, and someone just bought it for me.
So you weren't alone in this. You had the whole community of Bel Air.
Entire community.
The whole community's with you out there.
There was even people in Alaska that I didn't know that donated to my Kickstarter video that wanted to see me complete it.
See you complete it. So you think that added pressure to it? Did it make you
a little
want to finish more?
Yeah, I think it was a good kind of pressure, though.
Yeah.
It was like a feeling of excitement, like I want to do this. I want to show all of them,
So what was it like coming back to Bel Air after completing the Alaska?
After the Alaska divide,
everybody's
I was on top of the world.
Top of the world.
Excited, and mainly just like showing myself I could do it. But then wanting to share with all the people that were generous with me. From everybody that gave me a quarter to the people that gave me $500.
Yeah.
I wanted to show them.
I think this is probably a great opportunity to share your story right now on video. And
Yeah, big shout out to everyone who donated and of course my girlfriend Paula who supported me through the whole thing.
Yeah.
When it came to even like support via like text messages and also being lost, and there's a 4-hour time difference, so like calling Paula like in the very beginning, like I'm lost in Anchorage, she could bring up the live tracking and she guided me back to the route that I needed to be on. So I definitely couldn't have done it without her support and the support of all the donations in the entire community here.
Yeah, so coming back from either doing an event like the Crusher Point to Point or the Alaska Divide, when you come back, you're at work Monday morning. These problems that you face normally through work, whether it be at work or with your kids, these different problem-solving scenarios are in. What are those situations like after completing?
Well, they're
you notice a
definitely put
difference?
into a different perspective,
Yeah, everything's
for
in a
sure,
different
where
perspective.
it doesn't quite seem, nothing seems quite as hard anymore.
Nothing seems, it kind of dampens.
Even
real
if
life.
even if it's for a small window of time, you know, again, like you can always revert back to the idea that like, yeah, this broke at work, and yeah, this sucks real bad, but it's like you're gonna get through it.
Yeah.
Right. Everything gets better, you know, and that's why we keep doing these things. We register for the next thing.
Next thing.
And the idea that you're gonna get, you know, you get your fuel tank topped off on the hard stuff, so that when the real hard things in life you're tasked with, those challenges, they don't seem to be as hard.
For anyone that you've talked to that knows you've done these things, who watch you do these things, track you, watch you complete these events, they watch this video, anybody that does that, anybody that knows your story of doing these, what do you hope they take away from this?
For anyone, but especially young people. I'm talking people from 17 to 30.
Like your kids.
My children, it's like you look through this lens of like, everything is forever. You know, I'm 28 years old, I didn't do this, and you can reinvent your life in just a few short years. You can, you know, I got my first bike at 46, like I said, and I got sober, and in 3 years, I can't even relate to the Jeremy of 3 years ago.
You're a totally different person.
Completely different person for so many reasons. So just remember, like, you're never stuck.
Yeah.
You're never stuck. You're always, you put your head down and do the hard shit, and you'll pay off.
I've always thought that if you're doing life right, you're evolving and you're constantly changing. You're not the same person you were 3 years ago.
Yep.
You shouldn't even recognize that person anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that your stories of completing whether it be Alaska Divide or the Crusher Point to Point, kind of what it can signify is that it's like taking life as it you faced a lot of things that should have stopped you along both events, you know, both
sure.
journeys. But you just took it as it came, and you accepted it.
Yep.
And just kept going. And that's kind of
keep going.
Keep going.
It always gets better.
Yeah. It's never, nothing's ever the way it's going to be.
No.
You know, you have to, it's always going to change.
Yep.
If you keep moving forward, things will get better. You'll reach that finish line.
Yep.
I don't think there really is a finish
Everybody's
line.
on their own race.
Everybody's on their own race.
Yeah.
So what's the next race?
Well,
What's the next thing?
the next thing would be the Polar Roll in February.
Polar Roll in
30 mile,
February.
the mass start, and then
Why are you doing now? You're chasing something here.
I'm trying to get into get the Triple Crown, the Hall of Pain,
In the 906 event.
the 906 Adventure Team Trilogy. So the 30 mile Polar Roll, we'll check that box.
Yeah.
I've done the Crusher 350 point to point, so I've got the Crusher box checked. And then there's the Margie,
Margie.
which registration was 2 days ago.
2 days ago. What are you registered for?
Paula and I both are registered for the 100 mile run.
100 mile run.
Yeah, and that's in September of 2026.
What's your running experience look like at this point? Your races?
My running experience is
The local 5K.
the Central Lake Veterans Day run, the 5K.
Yeah,
I think the most I've ever run in my entire life was 14 miles.
14. That's a big jump to 100 miles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that last summer out in the Jordan Valley with Paula.
Yeah.
So
100 miles.
training starts now. Training started yesterday.
The hardest single day endurance race in the country, or whatever they call it. Yeah.
We're gonna take it on and see what happens.
Yeah. It'll be exciting to
But
watch.
also, like, this will be the first time I've ever, like, I'm doing this with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that's a whole element of, it's not like I'm out there alone.
Yeah.
And you know.
So this is the first time you've trained for anything.
I will actually be training
You're
this
actually
time.
gonna
Like I
train.
said, training started yesterday.
Training started yesterday.
Yep.
No, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to watch.
It'll be nice
the
to see how it
progress.
unfolds. I got
Yeah.
11 months to plan for it, so that's really exciting, and it's nice to. Like I said, I always love having something planned. It keeps me excited and just moving forward.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch the progress and see how the training unfolds, and I hope that we can document part of your training process.
I hope so too.
Keep in touch with you and see
Yeah.
how it's going. And
Yeah, appreciate you,
check it
dude.
down the road, and appreciate you talking to me and
Yeah,
doing this.
what
This
an
is-
honor.
Yeah, this is a really fun.
Nice to share my story.
Yeah, it was a really good story. And thanks, Kyle, for filming all this. And
I'm here too.
yeah, Kyle's behind the cameras and making the magic happen. So awesome.